afraid to take that leap of faith.
Yeah. He represents that fear that holds us back sometimes, you know?
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, fear of failure, fear of leaving behind the familiar. But recognizing that fear, that's a big part of overcoming it, right?
It is. And so as Santiago's there, watching the crystal merchant, learning the trade, he meets someone. All right, ready to dive into The Alchemist?
Let's do it.
Now, this book, it's not just a simple adventure story, is it?
Oh, definitely not. It's got layers.
Layers, yeah. And we're going beyond the surface today, really trying to unpack the deeper meaning.
Right, like what does Santiago's quest really mean, you know?
Exactly. And how does it apply to us, you know, our own lives?
And what's so fascinating is how Coelho starts. You know, he doesn't just jump right into the adventure.
Right.
He kind of sets the stage.
Okay, how so?
That story of Narcissus.
Oh, right.
But it's told from the alchemist's point of view. That's what's interesting.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Because, I mean, for most of us, the Narcissus story, it's about vanity.
Right.
But the alchemist, he sees it differently.
Totally. He flips the script. He points out it's the lake that's seeing its beauty reflected in Narcissus's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Which challenges the whole, traditional interpretation. And it hints at, I think, one of the big themes of the book. What we see on the surface might not be the whole story.
There's always something deeper.
Exactly.
Both in the world and in ourselves. I like that. And that brings us to our main character.
Santiago.
He's a shepherd. And on the surface, he has a good life.
Yeah.
But he yearns for something more.
He's restless.
He even reads to his sheep. I love that detail.
I know. It shows he sees the world a bit differently.
He does.
It's not just a quirky detail. It speaks volumes. This is someone who finds magic in the mundane.
Yes.
He craves knowledge, connection, even with his flock.
And then there's that encounter with the merchant's daughter. It's brief.
It is.
But it awakens something in him, right?
Absolutely. It's like a seed, you know, urging him to explore the world beyond what he knows.
And then the dream.
Oh, yeah.
The dream about the pyramids.
And the buried treasure.
This isn't just a dream, it's a call to adventure.
Right. It's the catalyst. It's what sets him on this whole journey. Think about it. Haven't you ever had a dream?
Oh, yeah.
That felt so real, like it was a message or something.
It stays with you.
Exactly. And this dream, it pushes Santiago to figure out, what does it mean?
Which leads him to the wise woman.
The wise woman.
And this is where we hear about personal legend, right?
Yeah, she's the one. And this is where the book, it kind of takes a turn. You know, it's more than just a plot device, this personal legend. It's this idea that we all have a unique path, a purpose we're meant to fulfill. And the wise woman, she's like that voice inside us all, urging us to find it. What's ours? She even gives Santiago a really important clue,
What's that?
She tells him, simple things are the most extraordinary. Only wise men can see them.
I love that line. It's a reminder to pay attention to the little things, to find meaning in the everyday.
Exactly. Don't overlook the simple things. They hold a lot of meaning.
But here's where it gets interesting, right? Because now he's guided by this mysterious king.
Melchizedek,
right? And he doesn't really sugarcoat things, does he?
No, he's very direct.
Yeah.
Which can be jarring. He confirms, yes, the personal legend, it's real. And he emphasizes, paying attention to the signs, but he also shares that story of the baker,
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's kind of a cautionary tale.
It is. It makes you think, what if?
What
if I don't at least try?
Exactly. We all have that choice to make.
Play it safe or
take the leap.
And for Santiago, that leap, he sells his flock.
It's a big step.
It's huge. He goes to Tangier.
Wow.
But of course, things don't go as planned.
No.
He gets robbed.
Oh, man. That's rough.
It's a harsh reminder, isn't it? Life doesn't just, hand you your dream.
Right. There are going to be obstacles.
There are. So he's starting from square one, but he doesn't give up. Instead, he finds himself at this crystal shop. It's like a detour, but...
But it becomes this place of learning, you know? Unexpected growth.
Yeah, he learns about trading, about connecting with people, recognizing opportunities.
It's interesting, though, the crystal merchant himself, he has this unfulfilled dream, right? Yeah, Mecca. And it's another reminder, like, what happens when we don't go after our personal legend?
He wants to go to Mecca, but he never.
He never does.
It's almost like he's afraid to take that leap of faith.
Yeah. He represents that fear that holds us back sometimes, you know?
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, fear of failure, fear of leaving behind the familiar. But recognizing that fear, that's a big part of overcoming it, right?
It is. And so as Santiago's there, watching the crystal merchant, learning the trade, he meets someone who is ready to face the unknown. The Englishman.
Ah, the Englishman.
And I was on a quest to find, wait for it, the Philosopher's Stone.
Alchemy.
Here we go.
He's interesting, the Englishman. He's like a whole different approach to knowledge, you know?
Yeah, how so?
Well, Santiago's following his intuition, right?
Yeah.
But the Englishman, he's all about the books, the theories.
Yeah.
And it kind of highlights that contrast, you know?
Yeah.
Experience versus intellect.
Oh, I like that.
Which we all kind of grapple with, right?
Yeah.
In our own ways.
Totally. Two sides of the same coin. But they both realize they need to pay attention to the world around them.
Absolutely.
Searching for that universal language.
Exactly. And that's a big takeaway for me, you know? It's like we can find meaning in the most unexpected places.
Sure.
Through experience or like diving into books. It all leads somewhere.
And sometimes it leads to love. Because things get interesting. The caravan arrives at the oasis, and Santiago, well, he meets Fatima.
And he's smitten.
He's smitten.
Totally head over heels.
But she's not just a love interest, is she?
No, she represents something deeper, I think. That connection to like something bigger than herself.
There's that phrase, the soul of the world.
Yes.
It sounds pretty mystical, I gotta say. What are we talking about here?
It's like one of those big ideas in the book, the soul of the world. Like everything's connected, right?
Okay.
And this force, it binds us all. It's that source of love, creativity, you know, like the essence of life itself.
And Fatima represents that.
She embodies it.
But even though he's fallen in love, it doesn't distract Santiago from his personal legend.
Right. It becomes a part of it.
It does.
It's like this idea that love shouldn't hold us back.
Yeah.
It should push us forward.
I like that. Love is fuel for the journey.
Exactly.
But just as he's experiencing this new love, tribal wars break out.
Oh, man. Talk about a test.
Threatening the oasis, everyone there. Talk about a test of courage, of resilience.
And this is where his ability to understand the desert, it becomes crucial.
Yeah.
He's learned to listen, you know.
To his intuition.
Yeah. To the whispers of the wind, the sand, all of it.
And he has this vision.
Of the army.
And it's not just a random thing.
Trail.
It's a sign. Like the soul of the world is sending him a message, telling him to do something.
And he does.
He warns the tribal leaders. He risks his own life to save others. But here's the thing. Because he trusted his gut.
Yes.
He not only saves them, but he takes a huge step closer to his own personal legend.
And this is when he meets the alchemist, right?
Right. This is it. It's a turning point.
It's not just a random encounter, is it?
No, it's like all these lessons he's learned, they've been leading to this moment.
The alchemist becomes like his guide. And not just through the desert, but through life.
Totally.
About love, about following your dreams. He teaches him about listening to his heart.
And this is where we learn about the Philosopher's Stone and the elixir of life. Like, we're getting into some serious alchemy now.
Right. These big, mysterious concepts.
They are.
They take on this whole other meaning, I think, in The Alchemist.
Okay, so the Philosopher's Stone, which can turn metal into gold.
Right. It represents our potential for transformation that's inside each of us.
And the elixir of life, that's not about living forever, is it?
No. It's about finding real wisdom.
Ah, okay.
Living a life full of purpose, you know?
So it's like true alchemy, it's about transforming ourselves.
Exactly. It's an inner process.
Not just some external thing.
It's about the journey too, right?
And Alchemist talks about that a lot.
He does. It's about the challenges, the good stuff too. That's how we grow.
Yeah. And speaking of challenges, Santiago's final test.
Oh, boy.
He's got to transform himself into the wind.
I mean, come on.
It sounds impossible, but there's got to be a deeper meaning here, right?
Yeah.
What's Coelho going for?
It's like ultimate surrender.
Yeah.
to the soul of the world, like letting go of control, embracing the unknown. Like we were just a small part of this bigger thing, right?
Yeah.
And when we align with that, real freedom.
Yeah. But even after all that, he still has to like face those tribal leaders, right?
Exactly.
And find his way back to the pyramids alone this time.
He does.
Because the alchemist, he's gone.
He's gone.
And it's interesting, you mentioned this earlier, how the alchemist doesn't sugarcoat things.
No, he's very straightforward.
He tells Santiago, straight up, the soul of the world, it's going to test you.
And it does. He's taken prisoner, faces death.
Yeah.
But he discovers his true strength.
He does.
And he even connects with the tribal leader, you know that.
Really?
Over a shared dream. Which leads back to, guess where?
Where?
The abandoned church in Spain, where it all began.
Wow. It's like life has a way of doing that, doesn't it? Bringing us full circle.
It does, with a new perspective, though.
Yeah.
Deeper understanding.
And when Santiago gets back to that church, he remembers the alchemist's words, right? Your treasure is where your heart is.
Powerful words.
And he finds it, the literal treasure.
Buried there, under the sycamore tree.
But also the true treasure, right? The wisdom.
The growth. The love he's found.
It's like that saying, what you seek is seeking you. And in the end, he returns to Fatima, not as a shepherd boy, but as someone who has faced his fears, chased his dreams.
She's transformed.
He lived his personal legend.
And there's that final image,
Oh, yeah.
As he's heading back to the oasis, he stops at the church.
Mm.
And he feels it. This kiss on his lips.
Mm.
And he knows.
What?
It's Fatima.
Oh, wow.
Thousands of miles away.
That image, it gets me every time. Love that transcends time and distance. Coelho's way of reminding us there's magic out there, stuff we can't explain.
Exactly. And when we're in tune with our personal legend, with the soul of the world, anything's possible,
Yeah. Love can bridge any distance. Dreams can come true. And even the most ordinary life.
Can be extraordinary.
Well said. As we wrap up our deep dive into The Alchemist, we want you to think about Santiago's journey and ask yourself, what's your personal legend? What can you do today, even a small thing, to move closer to it? And what signs has life been placing in your path? Keep those questions in mind. And let The Alchemist inspire you to live a life full of purpose, passion, and the courage to follow your own unique